So I've finally decided to take the plunge and start to do some bodywork prep ahead of doing some repainting. So basically it's just come to a point where doing the paint work is holding up too many other jobs, so it's time to crack on. I've taken off some of the stainless steel work on the sides, so we're just back to body panels. But yeah, this first fender was the one that's from a different car. I can see now I've taken the stainless steel work off. They didn't do a full respray of this last time around. I think they just sprayed around the stainless steel work, but it was a red fender before with white highlight. Here we go. So continuing the work in preparing the car body for a repaint. I've found that on the car the stainless steel trims are held on in a number of different ways. So on the front of the car they're all held on with screws. As you go further down the car they're sort of held on with these little, I don't know, pinch fasteners I guess you'd call them, which are so much easier to work with than the screws, because invariably all of this stuff has gone rusty. So undoing a rusty screw is potentially impossible, whereas just squishing together these little pinch fasteners is actually quite easy. So this back piece of trim came off so much easier than the ones in the front. Those on the doors, you access them through a hole in the doors. So that's a bit dark, hold on, there we go. So yeah, you access them through these kind of access panels in the doors, so you can get up in there, but it's kind of like the work of a contortionist, but it's sort of possible but difficult. And of course usual kind of mission creep on this stuff, where you start fiddling around inside the doors and you can see, well, there's not much surface rust in there, which is again always nice and encouraging, but there is sort of a little bit of detritus in here. I think this is old soundproofing that's crumbled away, so I will clear all of that out. I'll try and clear up the backs of these doors, oil the mechanisms for all of the window winders and the door handles, rust converter spray inside the doors just in case there is any surface rust. So yeah, each of them I'll try and do a little job on, and of course when it's all done I'll be putting door cards over the top of all of this stuff, so you won't see any of it anyway. But I don't know, I'd feel bad getting to this point and not doing that stuff, so yeah, just adding more jobs to the list as I go, which is fun. I'm now at the stage where I've done quite a lot of work on the front end, as you can see. So still just sanding to 120 grit at the moment, mostly by hand, as I find that just seems to be so much better than using the orbital sander. And where I'm taking enough paint off that I'm back to the bare metal, I am sort of putting these touch-ups of anti-rust primer, as there are a few spaces where I am going back to metal, and certainly behind where these stainless steel pieces were. A great piece of design, looks lovely, but it's water collects behind those stainless steel things, so yeah, there's obviously a little bit of rust behind all of those. Again, nothing major, a bit of surface rust, but yeah, you sand it down, prime it, it should be fine. Also, I took off the little metal scripts and I don't know what you call these, emblems, Chevy emblems, off the back sections of the car. These are going to need cleaning up. I mean, they're in good condition. I think just a little bit of surface corrosion on those, so I think they're going to clean up really nicely. just surprised at how easy they came off. I feel like if you had some of these missing, you just find another Bel Air and you could probably just jimmy the ones off the back of that one with a screwdriver. Don't do that, that's theft, that's illegal. So in going around the car, rubbing down the paintwork, obviously this is where you will come across any dents or bumps or scrapes that you hadn't noticed previously. So there's this little fella here which is in a slightly awkward spot on the driver's door to push out, so basically I'm going to take that back to bare metal. I've done most of it there already, and I'll fill that. And a bit further down there's a bit of a scrape here which I think might be alright, but I'll have a proper look at that. There's a bit of rust in here, I don't know if you can make that out. I've scraped out all of the rust, and again I want to get that more back to bare metal. And then there's also a scrape down the side here, sort of a dent in the back door, and then into the wheel arch there is obviously a bit more damage. So I think this here is sort of so shallow that I think I'll probably just fill that. This here, I'm going to see if I can hammer that out a little bit. I think a good number of hours into this now, so what I've been doing an awful lot of is sanding off the imperfections, putting a bit of filler on, then sanding it back to sort of see how flat that is. Normally it's then a case of putting a bit more sanding and then filling and sanding and filling and sanding. On the doors I managed to get all of the stainless steel trim off, and starting to sand down the door edges. So my method on this, I mean, anyone who knows about repainting cars will say that you need to go back to bare metal. I'm obviously not going to go back to bare metal, so there are going to be some compromises. But then, yeah, if I was going to go back to bare metal, I wouldn't be doing that myself. I'd be paying someone else to do it, and then it starts to get really expensive. So, yeah, not doing that. So, I'm trying to minimise the shortcomings of this method by trying to sort of be as meticulous as I can be. But yeah, I think the chances of it being flawless at the end are basically zero. But hopefully there'll be nothing too bad. What I need to do is get to a point where I can take this to a place where I can paint it. So I've managed to find a friend of mine who's got an outbuilding that I can spray the car in. So I want to get as much of the bodywork done before I go, but I can't take off stuff that I'm going to need to do the drive over. So I can't take off headlights. I think bumpers I probably should leave on, door handles, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a certain amount I can do here, but then yeah, once I get there I can take off all of this sort of trim, door handles, locks. I'll be taking out the windscreen and the back window. I've got all new rubber seals to put in there, so I should be able to sand and paint all the way up to the edges, including the interior, which I've not really done a lot on yet. That needs to also be sanded. But yeah, some of that stuff I'm just going to do at the second location. But yeah, there we go. There's a bit of an update on that. This is taking many hours, so there's not been an awful lot of updates in the meantime. But yeah, the more we do, hopefully the better it gets.